this season, we've partnered with Pilot Pen, makers of the #1 selling G2 Gel Ink pen. Together, we are sharing moving stories that prove how powerful the simple act of writing can be. There's a remarkable nonprofit all about supporting soldiers overseas and veterans, and it all began with one mom who wanted to connect with her son through personal letters and packages while he served in Iraq. From Soldiers Angels, please welcome founder Patty Pattenbader and CEO Amy Palmer. Give it up! All right, so Patty, explain why you started Soldiers Angels. How'd this come about?
Well, thank you, Kelly, very much for having Soldiers Angels on. It's such an important nonprofit. And it started when my son, Brandon, I was cooking in the kitchen and he came in and he said, "Mom, I met a man and he said if I joined the Army, I could go to Italy." So I did. And about 8 months after that, he was walking into Iraq. When I found out he was going to be deployed, of course, I was very scared. So I called my dad, the Army colonel, and told him what was going on. And he said, "Don't worry, hon, this is what you need to do." Taught me how to make the care packages to put in hygiene items and snacks and something personal, like a book or a puzzle or something like that, and send these off. So sure enough, he called and I said, "How are you doing?" He said, "Fine." I said, "You're getting the packages?" He goes, "Yeah, Mom." And I said, "Great, so you have enough supplies?" He goes, "Oh no, you and a couple of the wives are the only things sending things." And I said, "Don't worry, son, more supplies on the way. I love you so much." And hung up the phone, turned to my husband and said, "We're going to need a lot more money." And that's when I decided I better put up a website. We needed help.
Oh, that's a beautiful thing how organically that happened. So, Patty, this grew really quickly, right? Like when you asked for help, people answered.
Oh, from all across America, people came and it was astounding. People who had a lot of money donated money. People who didn't have a lot of money started writing letters, and people who were right in between started adopting soldiers and getting those care packages out. So yeah, it grew and it got very exciting.
Absolutely, and I bet it makes them feel not only special but not forgotten. You know, for sacrificing so much that people are just thinking of them I think would be monumental. So, Amy, I got to ask you, how did things change with the pandemic?
So with the pandemics, we weren't able to go into the VA hospitals and visit patients like we were before. So we started providing meals to VA staff. We also started distributing hygiene kits, items for veteran patients, boxed lunches for low-income and homeless veterans. We also expanded our mobile food distribution. We were serving 200 families at each of our mobile food distributions a month, and we expanded that to 300 to accommodate additional military families and low-income veterans and homeless veterans. In addition, we started driving, providing transportation services for veterans to get to their medical appointments, and of course, even transporting COVID positive veterans that were homeless to homeless shelters where they were provided temporary housing during the quarantine.
Oh, that's amazing. The nonprofit started as an effort to send personal letters and care packages to troops overseas. Now they help active service members and veterans in all sorts of ways. I want to bring in a woman who got to know Soldiers Angels when she received parcels from them while she was deployed. Now she's one of their volunteers. Everybody, let's give a warm welcome to Army veteran Cheryl Moody. Woo! Well, first of all, I love your top because green is my favorite color. And secondly, thank you so much for your service. Thank you for that first and foremost. I just have to ask though, like, I mean, I guess even just with traveling and you're away from home and you're away from family, like I felt like there were like 3 years of my life I never was home. I was always traveling and I was always away from my friends and family, and it gets very lonely. So I can't even imagine what the sacrifice that you do in leaving not only the state but your country and going to serve your country, and the isolation you can feel sometimes and feeling alone from like your friends and family. So Cheryl, how important were those packages?
Those packages were everything, because there were some soldiers in my unit that did not receive hardly anything from their family and friends back home. And so often what I had received from Soldiers Angels, I shared it with some of my other soldiers too. And so sharing the potato chips, the candy, the cookies, and I even received journals. And so I was able to capture my thoughts of so much that happened there at war. I was able to capture my thoughts too in the journal. So it definitely meant the whole world. It was like America heartbeat was right there along with our heartbeat. We were connected. We were connected with America being deployed so far away from home.
That's really important. I can't even imagine. Well, I understand this is the coolest thing. I understand that you've saved every letter and card that you received, correct?
I sure did, Kelly, because I look at it like these people, these fellow Americans took time to write, to send care packages, to send cards. So I felt like it is very important and necessary for me to keep everything that they have sent. So I created the book. And one of the best letters that I had gotten out of this book was from this little girl. And she's a kindergartner. So this little kindergartner, of course, the letter is in her kindergartner little handwriting.
Yeah.
And so it was one of my favorite letters because of the fact that she said, "Thank you so much for what you do for us." And there's her letter right here. So
Aw. That's so cool. And to come from a little one, it's incredible, like how she was touched in that way. Patty, how does it feel knowing how much the letters meant to Cheryl?
Well, your dream is happening. This is what you hope when you put up a website and ask for help, and you hope Americans will stand and that patriotism comes through, and you hope that it reaches out to that person who isn't receiving mail, and you hope it makes that 12-hour day just a little bit better. And to hear from Cheryl fills my heart.
Yeah. Well, Cheryl, this is the coolest thing though. When you got back, you decided to volunteer with Soldiers Angels. So what's that been like?
I tell you something, Kelly. One day I was there during the Christmas time. I was stuffing some stockings, and so I'm stuffing them with candy. And it just hit me all of a sudden. Here I am packing stockings for fellow military to go into Afghanistan and places, and they're going to receive the way that I received when I was deployed. And I just got so teary-eyed. Oh my goodness, it's like, wow, this is amazing. This is just so amazing.
I think it's the most beautiful full circle story. And you really know what it means to receive those. So it's a really cool thing that you're able to now give to who you once were. It's a really cool story. And Amy, I have to ask, what do you see next for Soldiers Angels? I know y'all dream big. So what's the bigger dream?
Oh, we do. We have lots of dreams and visions for the organization. We are going to continue to roll out our transportation services. And we also want to develop something new, which is a backpack program to be able to give backpacks with the hygiene kits, with sweat bottoms, slippers, t-shirt, and undergarments for veterans that are hospitalized for long stays that would like to be able to get out of their hospital gown, but don't have maybe family at home to be able to bring that to them, or maybe came off the streets and just don't have access to those things. So that is something, as funding is available, that we will be adding in the near future.
That's really great. I think it's so important that you're not only focusing on our soldiers who are actually in the middle of sacrificing for us right now and serving our country right now, but also you're looking out for them afterwards. That's the worst part when you hear those stories about somebody coming back and they feel forgotten and they're on hard times, and it's like those are the people that should definitely be taken care of first. So I think it's really important that your organization takes care of both sides of it, both ends of the spectrum. Y'all, this season we've actually partnered with Pilot Pen, and they love to celebrate passionate people helping in big ways. And they especially love that this all started with the power of the pen. And that's why they are giving Soldiers Angels $5,000 to help in any way they can, wherever you can use that. And we just want to say thank you. It's such a beautiful thing, that was started with a mother and son, and then it grew to this thing that's helping many sons, many daughters, and many family members. So it's a beautiful dream that just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And we wish y'all all the success. All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you, Kelly.
Absolutely. Yep, I'm still here, just waiting for you to subscribe. If you don't, I'll be trapped in this box forever.